I had 14 flights across 6 different countries over the past 5 months, but I still stayed consistent with my daily routine. So I want to show you how you can become consistent and stay consistent even if your life is chaotic. Wow. Quite a Mr. Beast-like intro, right? How dramatic. I mean, everything I said is true, but it's funny how we need to make these dramatic intros, these dramatic claims for people to be interested in what we have to say. But anyways, welcome, friends. I will talk about consistency and I will deliver on the promise of showing you, and quite literally showing you and sharing the knowledge on how to become consistent and stay consistent. Maybe this video will reach some new people, so I will give brief introduction on who I am and what makes me the person to talk about this. I've been writing online, and that's how most people will find this video, those who already know about me. I've been writing online for the last 5 years and 3 months, I think, consistently, daily. And have been making YouTube videos, but this is yet to become a serious project for me. And let's hope this is becoming right now a serious project for me. But I've been consistent, a consistent online writer for over 5 years. And consistency has been a part of what I've been talking about. It was never the main topic that I'm interested in writing about. As a lot of you know, I've been dealing with existential questions and with the questions of human potential, human growth, human flourishing through the perspective of philosophy and psychology. But we cannot talk about a meaningful and fulfilling life and successful life without the building block that is consistency. Whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to get out of a rut, or if you're in a good place in life but you want more out of yourself and out of life, all positive change, all progress, all success require you to show up, and to show up regularly. My belief is that we need to show up daily for almost any pursuit in life, but for now let's say regularly, that is consistently. Why am I making this? Well, this is going to become a video series that's going to be unedited, raw. The idea is to show, because I've been talking about consistency, I've provided a framework for people. Some of you have seen my strategy, my method of being consistent, and I will go over it in this video for those of you who haven't. So I've provided information for people. I have hopefully embodied the ideal of consistency, or let's not say the ideal, but I've embodied the value of consistency through my online work, but I never gave you a close-up look in how that manifests in my life, other than writing and, let's say, physical training that I've shown. So this will be a video series of documenting and showing how I'm consistent, especially at a period in my life that is pretty chaotic, both externally and internally. Because that's one question that I get often. I get people saying, yeah, David, I've read your consistency method. I see how it's practical, but my life is pretty chaotic right now. I'm dealing with a lot of things, and this isn't the time for me to be consistent. And I have compassion, but I cannot agree, because it's quite literally always the time to be consistent. That's what the idea of consistency is about, that you can keep showing up under unfavorable circumstances and conditions. If the conditions are perfect, what's so special about consistency? Then it's, do you need to get credit for brushing your teeth every day? Maybe some people do it. So consistency is about showing up when the circumstances are unfavorable. That is, to continue showing up. So I want to talk about that, and I want to show it to you. As I said, this will be raw, unedited. I cannot and don't want to record my whole day, because I want to protect my privacy, both out of the reasons that I just value my privacy and out of genuine concern for my privacy. Some of you who have read my Substack essays know that I have a genuine reason to be concerned for my safety, so I don't want to disclose or don't want to show too much of my private life for those reasons. But let's get into the whole story about how I'm staying consistent in the midst of chaos. I will risk not being too cool, and I will look at my laptop screen for some notes. So yeah, I will, this will maybe not be as smooth as I want it to be and as you expect it to be, but I want to look at some notes on the things that I want to mention. So there is no script, but there are certain things that I want to cover. Yeah. Was one of the issues with consistency, or one of the points that people approach consistency as in expecting, once again, as previously mentioned, those perfect conditions. For me, which I know to be the truth and to be a useful truth, the fact is that you have to approach consistency with the acknowledgement that you will face many both internal and external obstacles. So setting up your routine to be consistent requires you to take into account, again, both internal and external obstacles. That's why you see people who want to, let's say, learn a new language, and they set the goal of doing a 40-minute lesson every day. That's why they fail, because you cannot tell me that that's taking into account days where you will feel overwhelmed by certain personal issues, or days where you will genuinely be extremely busy. So you're not taking into account those days, then you fail one day and second day and third day, and then you've completely lost your momentum. So setting up your routine for consistency, one of the most basic steps is just acknowledging the fact that you have to take into account that there will be many, many, many bad, quote unquote, bad days where you still want to show up. The idea behind consistency is to show up, but you cannot show up on the level that you would like. So you have to settle for something less intensity, less volume, less time invested into that activity. That's part of your routine. So internal and external obstacles, and kind of to paint the picture of what you will be, maybe some of you interested in watching during this series of me staying consistent in the midst of chaos and actually taking on a new project. I want to give an overview of my current situation. So as I said, 14 flights across 6 different countries in the last 5 months, and I've stayed consistent. Those of you who follow my work know that. However, that came at a price, one of them being that my passport is filled out. I have no pages left in my passport. I will not show the inside of my passport because I think that's a bit too private, but the pages are filled out, and I'm currently at a place where I don't know where I will be next week. I know that if I want to continue traveling and find a place to settle, I first need to go to a different country that I didn't plan on visiting to renew my passport, because my home, Montenegro, Crna Gora, is too far away for me to go and renew my passport there. And besides being too far away, isn't a place that I want to visit, that I want to spend time in, out of many reasons. So, filled out passport, taking a bunch of flights, having to do this unplanned and unexpected flight to renew my passport and spend some time in that country where I'm going to be completely honest, that's not the most comfortable thing also for my wallet. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with how I'm doing in life. But uh, I'm not going to act like I'm this ultra successful online guru who can just fly wherever, whenever. You know, the these constant flights, these 14 flights, weren't necessarily something that I wanted. They were most of them were a matter of necessity. So it's not like that's something that doesn't take a toll on my wallet, to put it that way. So externally, in a situation where I have some serious logistical thinking to do, how long I'm going to stay here, when will I go, and how can I go to renew my passport after that with a new passport, where will I go to set up a base for a while. So quite literally not having any idea of how my life is going to look externally for the next weeks and months. I'm recording this around an hour before I need to check out of this accommodation. So I will be changing accommodation, and the next one is booked for 3 days. So I have 3 days to figure out what to do. That's the external situation. Pretty chaotic. If it's not obvious, I'm not complaining. I love my life. I don't want it to be this chaotic. I'm not a travel influencer, so I don't want to be having even 6 flights in 5 months, let alone 14. I would prefer that it's once a while going on a trip, but I'm not the travel influencer or the adventure influencer. So I love my life. I wake up excited every day for the work that I get to do, but part of me loving my life and part of the excitement definitely isn't my current external situation and the current instability. When it comes to internal obstacles, I will be transparent, again, to paint the picture, to show you that, because all of this is not me venting out, all of this is to set the tone for this series and to prove you that you can show up for yourself. Internal obstacles. As much as I love my life, I also, I carry a dose of sadness with me. I haven't seen my loved ones in a long while. My nephews, who are growing up without me, who are the two most important beings in my life. My best friend has a baby daughter that is, again, growing up without Uncle David, and I carry a dose of sadness because of that, and that's a sadness that I've been carrying for a while. And also the situation is such that because of my life circumstances and because of the circumstances of my family, it looks like I won't be seeing them anytime soon, and who knows if ever I will be in a position where I can spend time regularly with them. That's the reality of the situation, that maybe as long as I'm alive, I will never be able to spend regular time with my family, just because of the circumstances that prevent me from I will put it straightforward, from being safe in my country. There is a dose of sadness that I've learned to live with and still enjoy my life, and as I said, love my life and wake up excited. But there are periods of time when that sadness becomes a bit heavier than usual, and that's that period. That's that period. I'm being transparent. The days have been a bit heavier than usual, and that's life. That's life. So currently, external situation of my life pretty unstable, or as unstable as it can be, pretty chaotic. And internally, not the most happy time, but that's life, and I want to show you how that doesn't need to affect your ability to show up. Why this is also an interesting period. because, I'm writing regularly. YouTube, besides this raw, unedited series, YouTube is becoming more of a priority for me. So while I will be posting daily videos showing my journey of thriving in chaos or staying consistent in chaos, I actually want your recommendations for the name of this series in the comments. Staying consistent in chaos, thriving in chaos, whatever. What's interesting is that I have another project. I'm creating something that I will call an existential boot camp, to put it that way. I'm putting together an educational resource. I want to call it. Maybe the name will be something else, but what is it? It will be an existential boot camp. That's how I imagine it, because I'm putting together an educational resource that will help people get unstuck. That's a lot of also what my writing is about, and inspired by existential tradition and humanistic tradition, and also my life experience. I want to create an educational resource that will help people get unstuck and create momentum in their life. Create that existential momentum to really dive into life. And it just so happens that in the midst of my chaos, it's the right time to start creating this existential bootcamp. Because why wait? Why wait when I don't know when will external circumstances be better? So what? And this is a question for you. What are you going to do? Wait? You have this idea, but excuse me, I'm going to wait until the time is better. When? When is that going to be? I know not all of us have the same priorities and same resources in terms of time at disposal. This is what I do for a living. And I'm beyond blessed. I get to study hours and hours and hours. I get to write. I get to think. So my life is really fulfilling in that sense. So this is what I get to do with my time. Does that mean that if you have an idea that isn't part of what you do for a living, does that mean that you have zero time for it? Does it mean that you will wait for some imaginary better point in the future? Hopefully by the end of this series, a lot of you will get your projects started. So I will, day in and day out, I will be working on this, and I will be recording videos and telling you transparently how it's going. This will not become a series where I'm promoting my existential bootcamp, and the series becomes actually a big promo for you to join my existential bootcamp when it's ready. No, I'm truly hoping that you learn with me as I'm going on this journey and sharing how I'm staying consistent. Let me say this. I will link all of the free resources that I have on consistency. I will link them somewhere under the video so that I don't spend too much time talking about it now. But here is the core idea of my consistency method. Start small. Everyone knows that. Okay, that's common knowledge, but also it's knowledge that not many people are applying. I will throw in this to add on start small. Start so ridiculously small that you're doubting if this is even meaningful or worth it. That's when it comes to adopting a new habit or trying to become consistent in something that you've never been consistent in and you've always struggled with. So for those of you who never stayed consistent with your physical training for longer than a couple of weeks, you need to make a deal with yourself that 5 minutes of training, of 5 minutes of physical activity counts as a workout. And if you are, dismissing and laughing that 5 minutes is nothing, okay, keep Keep doing your thing. Keep showing up for a couple of weeks and then taking 5-6 months breaks. And then trying to go back to training and spend your life like that. Or maybe you will take 100 days of showing up at the minimum level that you can, and you will develop the confidence in your ability to keep showing up. Your choice. Start small. Start so ridiculously small and set that as your safety net. So ridiculously small that you cannot not do it. But a lot of consistency advice stops there. Start small and that's it. But then we are at a place where you're not making any meaningful progress. Because to use, again, this analogy of 100 days of showing up, we are hoping that in those 100 days, not every single day will be just 5 minutes. Because then you're really leaving a lot of progress on the table. But if your only idea is start small, then how do you even have a framework to show up on a higher level? Well, you need different options. You need different options prepared so that based on the day, based on external conditions and internal conditions, you can make an assessment and choose one of the levels. Levels are mini, plus, and elite. Elite would be what most people think is a standard. So once again, training, people think that should be the standard to show up for a 45 or 60-minute workout in the gym. That's elite. Because if you did that consistently for a year, you would be in a better physical shape than 99% of people. So how can you put that as a standard? How? It makes no sense. That's elite. That is the elite version of you showing up. Mini, as we said, is something ridiculously small. Because the point of mini is psychological momentum, not external results. And then plus is the bridge between the two. Because you also don't want to have this massive gap where, okay, I have 5 minutes of, let's say 5 minutes of push-ups or squats, for push-ups and squats, and then I have a 60-minute gym workout. If those are my two only options, that's kind of strange. What am I going to do on a day where I know I can do more than 5 minutes, but I definitely don't have the time to go to the gym? I need a middle option. And at the beginning, it's better for this middle option that we call plus. It's better for it to be closer to mini, so that you are more often prompted to choose plus. And then later, you want plus to be a motivation for you to choose the elite, if that makes sense. So later on, okay, I'm becoming confident in my ability to show up. So let's put plus as a, going to the gym and doing a 30-minute workout. Although I think that's too much for plus. Let's say going to the gym and doing a 20-minute workout. Then you're becoming more and more likely to go there and say, I can do the elite. I can do it. I have the energy. I can squeeze in the time to do it. So plus changes depending on where you are on your journey. So even though I said I'm going to link the resources for consistency below the video, actually I'm giving you now, this is it. This is the framework. Choose the activity and divide it into mini, plus, and elite. And that's how you will develop the habit. Well, we got that out of the way. How to stay consistent when your life is chaotic and let's say you have a project. So you've accepted this idea of dividing your chosen activity, your habit into different options. But let's now talk more broadly about how it looks and what it takes to show up when life is chaotic. So I will be using my own example. I'm writing every day. I'm having calls with people. I'm having calls with my community. I'm studying actively every single day. And I'm trying to have somewhat of a human life. I want to do also my workout and I want to take a walk. at the very least, can I take a walk and experience human life? I'm kind of joking a bit. I enjoy my life. It's not like I'm this person who is, suffering, just grinding all day and not, I enjoy what I'm doing. Yes, it's difficult and sometimes exhausting, but I enjoy what I'm doing, and I get to take a walk and look at people and look at interesting things around me. But here is, I want to set the stage for when life is pretty chaotic, what it takes to stay consistent, and how I'm approaching now this period of my life. Hopefully this will be useful. How I'm approaching this period that is chaotic externally, that is a bit heavy internally, and I have a project that I want to start, and I want to make serious progress on it. This is going to be lesson number 1. Accept that it will be ugly and messy. And when I say ugly and messy, I mean literally and metaphorically. So let me explain. Metaphorically, you're guessing it is going to be ugly and messy in the sense of how I'm showing up, But literally ugly and messy, I'm making peace with the fact that next weeks and maybe even months, my daily routine and my lifestyle are not going to be as I would like them to be in an ideal case scenario. And to start with, the most basic thing, my apartment right now, my accommodation it's way more messy than I would want it to be. I'm someone, who values cleanliness and orderliness and puts it very highly. My mom would kill me if she saw how my apartment looks right now. It's not terrible, but it's way below my standard. Way below the standard of how I want to live my life. If this was actually my home, this would be terrible. I'm not going to show you because honestly, I'm uncomfortable. But yeah, it might sound like it's irrelevant, but this is one of the examples of accepting that I'm in a period of my life where I have to be shifting priorities. Right now, I'm optimizing my life for showing up to do the work that I'm supposed to do in this life. And that's right, help people and create educational content. I think all of us are starting to dislike the word, but that's what it is. Content can be books or videos. I'm optimizing my life for showing up to do the work that I'm supposed to do. I cannot optimize my life right now for having the most, the most smooth routine. It's going to be ugly and messy, and I have to accept it. I'm not saying that I'm going to be living like a pig. I'm going to maintain the level of cleanliness and orderliness, if that's even a word, to the point where, it's not so messy that it's hurting my mental health, my mental state, my psychological state. I think all of us have experienced how a messy environment can affect you negatively. So I'm not allowing to get to that point, but I'm also not treating it as something that's a priority. Maybe some of you already are messy people, and so this isn't relevant for you, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. I'm painting a picture of how I'm setting the stage for me to make it easier for myself to keep showing up, and to keep showing up, as intensely as I can. The same goes for my diet, if you could call it like that. I'm just going to be getting it done. This is not the period of my life to think about having the most well-balanced meals and, to really enjoy my meals. And I know people will disagree with this, like, no, you need to take your time to. What is the priority of your life right now? You cannot have it all. You cannot have it all. You cannot, take on a new project and have the perfectly balanced diet and, have plenty of social time and then have also time to watch your favorite show in the evening. No, you have to make sacrifices if you want to accomplish certain things. So yeah, my lifestyle is going to be, that's why I say ugly compared to what I want it to look like, long term. Now it's going to be a bit ugly and messy, and I'm going to be, treating food for what it is, a fuel, and I'm just going to be getting it done so that I can continue with my day, and I'm going to not care too much about the cleanliness and orderliness of my living environment, to the point, where I'm not really living like a pig. So that's accepting that it's going to get ugly and messy, quite literally. When it comes to effort, it's going to get ugly and messy because I will not be able to perform at the highest level every day because of my chaotic situation. Because there will be days where I need to spend time writing emails to the embassy, where I need to go and renew my passport. Then I will probably soon have to book another flight to go and try to renew my passport. Today my effort is going to look ugly and messy because I'm moving in an hour. So I'm already losing. I'm moving out. Then I have to wait somewhere for 2 hours for the next accommodation to let me in. So that's, with bunch of stuff. So already that's, my routine being completely shifted. I don't want to say destroyed, but my daily routine being disturbed. The effort is going to look ugly and messy, but there will be some effort in my day. There will be as much effort as I can put into my work. Once again, ugly and messy. I keep repeating it because I want it to really hit you in a way where this is not just something rational. Oh yeah, yes, David, I understand. Yeah, a lot of us understand a lot of things, and then we don't do anything about them. That's why I like to say, I like to remind people of the truth that we're not purely rational beings. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean much if you just understand this. Oh yeah, David, I understand. There needs to be there needs to be another dimension to it other than you understanding it on a rational level. I've painted a picture, so I'm accepting things to get ugly and messy, both literally in my life and the way that I'm putting in the effort. So preferably, I want to have a serious working block in the morning and then go work out and then continue working. Today, that's not going to happen because I'm moving. Then in a couple of days, maybe I will be moving again, or I will extend my accommodation. But certainly soon enough, I will be flying out and getting this stuff done. I will be sending emails that I don't want to send, that are not part of my work, that are related to the passport. I will be overwhelmed, and my cognitive capacity will not be where I want it to be. So external things will prevent my routine and my effort from being as precise and as quote unquote clean as I want it to be. But internal factors as well, being overwhelmed, being stressed out, will prevent me from showing up at my highest capacity. But it will not prevent me from showing up at all. So to all of this you can say, yes, David, I understand it. So the idea is to accept things are going to get ugly and messy, and you don't have to agree with the lifestyle part. That's I'm just saying how it is for me. That's you think about it. I have no idea how your life looks, but when it comes to effort, you have to accept that it's going to be ugly and messy. And you say, yeah, David, I understand. That's not enough. You understand on a rational level. Always when I'm talking about consistency, people understand. But most of those people still aren't consistent. How many copies did Atomic Habits sell? Millions and millions of copies. I think all of those people comprehend on a rational level what they read. Did all of those people develop habits? I don't think so. So then we can conclude from that rationally understanding something isn't enough. Excuse me. In this case that I'm describing, what is needed besides a rational understanding? And maybe you can translate this to other information that you pick up, such as Atomic Habits or whatever. It's not always about habits, hopefully. You need to make a commitment and an agreement with yourself to start embodying what you've understood rationally. For the last couple of days, I've been going on a morning walk and having a conversation with myself, truly coming to terms with the fact that it is going to get ugly. Truly coming to terms with the fact that it's not going to look as I would want it to look this whole period of my life. So it's not like, okay, I know this on a rational level and that's it. And I'm just going to count on the fact that my reason is going to get things done. No, that's I don't want to go on a philosophy rant, but that's the problem with the modern worship of human reason, as if it's the greatest power in the universe. It's not. You are more irrational than you are rational. Think about it. And I know a lot of you maybe disagree, but we can always have that debate. I love talking about it. It's not the point of this video, so we can do that another time. But you are far less rational than you think. So rather than you telling me, David, I understand, I suggest you wait a moment. Have you internalized it? Take some time. Make an agreement with yourself. It's not weird to have a conversation with yourself. It's weird never to have a conversation with yourself. Those are the crazy ones, not those who talk to themselves and with themselves. Have a conversation with yourself, make an agreement, and accept that you can take on the project, the habit, the activity, while your life isn't looking as you want it to look, while the conditions are not perfect. And the effort that you're going to be putting in is not going to be always on the level that you want it to be, is not going to look as pretty as you want it to look. Make that agreement with yourself. Say, I can show up for myself, I can get things done, but it's not going to look as I would want it to look in ideal circumstances, in ideal case scenario. This is not just a matter of understanding rationally. It's a matter of commitment. It's a matter of an agreement with yourself. It's a matter of deeply, deeply coming to terms with the fact that you cannot wait for a better time, because when you look at your life, the time is never perfect. The time is never perfect. And the effort never looks pretty. Never. No book in the history of books, and I'm talking about books that are worth reading, has been written in a state of bliss and perfect external and internal conditions. No house has been ever built in a pretty way. come up with another example. You'll come up with another example. People show up more often than not in very suboptimal internal and external conditions. Since you are hesitating to do the thing, you have to make this agreement, this contract with yourself, and say, I'm not going to be discouraged with how ugly it looks. I'm not going to be discouraged that today I'm going to be sweaty. I don't know, it's 40 degrees Celsius outside. I don't know for the freedom units how, but that's a lot. I'm going to go out with 2 bags and 2 backpacks. I'm going to be sweaty. I'm going to go in some cafe that has AC on way too cold, this insane contrast. My nose is going to be stuffed, and I'm going to do some semi-focused work. Then I'm going to go into the new accommodation, try to get unpacked. Then I'm going to have a call. Then I'm going to do some more writing, upload this video. Then tomorrow I'm going to try to have somewhat of a stable routine. But then midday or later I will have to start thinking again, okay, my accommodation is expiring soon. What to do next? It's going to get ugly. But I have this idea that I cannot let it sit there. I cannot let it sit there. I've let far too many ideas sit for a long time. And I'm the guy who does the thing. I'm the guy who's been doing the thing for 5 years consistently. So I can only imagine how many ideas you've let sit. I just genuinely want this to be a call to action. Let's see if this series makes any sense for anyone. My goal is to do it for the next 30 days. I still will be aiming to post my educational YouTube videos. So it's not like this is going to be excuse not to produce those structured educational videos on certain topics that I write about. So I'm guessing there will be some days when I upload 2 videos per day, which sounds insane, but let's give it a try. The main focus is to keep writing doing my regular thing, which is writing, and create this existential bootcamp for people to get unstuck, for people to gain existential momentum in life, to feel alive, to jump into life, to start making decisions and take meaningful action, rather than be paralyzed by their thoughts and to keep sabotaging themselves. So I really want to do it. I mean, that's something that I've been doing for a while, but now I want to put it in a certain framework. That's going to be the goal over the next 30 days. And yeah, as I said, educational YouTube video. I mean, this is hopefully educational, but those more well-structured videos will also be there. I'm aiming for 1 per week, so let's see if I can do it. I believe I should be able to do it, but maybe this series will be more of a priority because I want to do it daily, and daily just take you through all the challenges and how I've overcome them, both mental frameworks used to stay consistent in the face of chaos, and also practical tips that I determine could be relevant to you. So that's it, friends. I don't know if this is going to make any sense, or if it is even this going to be relevant, but the message is simply that you can show up in the midst of chaos, and I want to show you that you can. So that's it. Thank you for those of you who watched or listened to this whole thing. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm always humbled by the fact that people want to take time and attention out of their day and give it to me. I'm hoping you're getting your return on investment. And that's it. Let's wrap this one up, and I will be back tomorrow, give you an update on how this day of moving went, and I will be honest with how much effort did I put into my projects and how that effort looked. So yeah, you will be getting day by day honest, transparent update on how it looks to keep showing up for yourself and your projects even when external and internal circumstances are unfavorable. Thank you, friends. Stay strong, love life, and never feel sorry for yourself. Talk to you soon.